Hello my dear students, welcome back to another session of computer application. So the previous class, the recorded class you understood, I hope. So today we are going to learn about the new chapter, it's input in Java. So in the previous class, many programs we have seen and the video programs and all you have observed. There we already have used the inputting option. So the more details about inputting, that means how we are going to input the value, what do you mean by inputting, how we are doing inputting option in the Java programming, that and all we are going to study inside in this particular chapter that is called as input in Java. So today we are going to learn about the initialization of variables, types of initialization, different types of variables, how can we initialize. These all the things we are going to discussing in this section. Okay, so we can start the classes initialization. So initialization, that means that before going to explain the initialization, you have to understand what you mean by variable. So the previous class many times we already explained what do you mean by variable. So variable, it's a reserved word. So that a variable, it is a name of a reserved area of a memory. We can conclude that is the variable is the name of a reserved area of a computer memory. So it will be initialized. That means that a user will be initialized the variable. Okay. So what do you mean by initialization? That is assigning an initial value. So some particular value we are initializing. While declaring the variable itself, we are assuming some value to the respected variable. So that is called as a initialization. So then what the initialization will do? Initialization tells the computer how much memory space would be occupied by the variable. Okay. So how can we assign the variable space, or how can we find out how much space will be occupied the given variable? Based on the data types. So in the data types lesson we already have studied each data type how much space will be occupied, isn't it? So integer data type, they are providing 2 byte space, float is having 4 byte, double is having 8 byte. So like that each and every data type is having their own space, required space will be there. Only we can use that much. Okay. So this initialization will be that only. Initialization tells the computer how much space would be occupied by the variable. So we already have studied how can we initialize the variable. Initialization means what? So how we have to do the initialization. Okay. So initialization, assigning a value by using the assignment operator, assigning a default values by its compatible data types. Compatible data type means the relevant data type. So which value we are going to assign, based on the value the data type should be used. For example, if you are using normal numerical value means you have to use integer. So this integer value will be, that means the numerical value will be compatible with the integer data type. That means string value or text value will be compatible with the character data type. Decimal fraction number will be compatible with the float number. So this is called as a compatible. So by using the assignment operator, which is assignment operator in the operators in Java we already have seen. So equal to sign is the assignment operator. Okay. So with the help of this assignment operator with compatible data types, we are initializing the variable. Okay. So this is just brief explanation about the initialization of variable. Moreover, we can tell while declaring the variable itself, we are assuming a value to the relevant variable is called as a initialization of variable. So we already know Java is also allows the initialization of variable. Okay. So the speciality will be to compare with the other programming language, Java is little bit different. So Java allows initialization of variable by its runtime. Runtime means while executing the program, the initialization will get activated. So this activation of initialization is called as a dynamic initialization. Okay, so different types of initialization will be there. So major will be 2 type of classification, dynamic initialization and static initialization. But in the entire Java programming, we are depending on dynamic initialization. Okay, so the initialization of variable, again I am telling it's a assigning the starting value. Initial, we are trying to give the initial value of a variable. So what do you mean by initial value? So before using the variable or before using the any expression, first one value we are applying. Okay, so the next entire calculation, the same value only we are using. That means in between we are unable to change the value of a variable. The first word value we have to given, that will be just like a fixed or constant value. That is called as initialization. Once if you initialize the variable, the entire programming, the same value you have to use it. Okay, so what are the program practical oriented session you have watched? We are not initialized any variable. So we are given the choices to the user. That means say the user which we are accepted. Okay, that means when after complete the writing the program, we are going to execute the program. While executing the program controller will be asking to the user enter the number. So that is user choice only. So that is not initialization. That is user will be while executing the time which value they wanted to enter, their choice they are entering at present. Okay, but initialization is not like that. Once if you initialize the variable, what value you are given, based on that value the program will be executed, and based on that we will get the output. That means the user don't have any role the inputting section. Already the programmer will be done that work. The user will be executing the program, just observe the output. That means they don't have the chance to input the value while executing the program. Okay, so that is the difference between initialization and user inputting. So this is initialization. So initialization, many advantages will be there. Sometimes the user, some user will be created the program, some other user will be executing the program. Sometimes he may or may not be know which is the data type, the compatible data type they doesn't know. So by the time there is a chance they will enter the wrong value. If they will enter the wrong value, means the calculation will be not do the properly. That means we will not get any proper output. So in this kind of situation we can initialize the variable. Then while running the program, while executing the program, what initialized variable or values we have given, based on that the program will be executed. Okay, that means there is no role in the user while executing the program. So this is called as a initialization of variable. Okay, so the next one is the next type of initialization will be Java. Java allows the Java programming initialization. So Java, one of the major initialization of the Java will be called as dynamic initialization. So dynamic initialization will be during the execution of the program or runtime, the variable will be executing or initializing and executing. So that is called as a dynamic initialization. For example, here I have declared one variable double. Double is a data type, n equal to 5.5. Okay, so here I have entered a double n equal to 5.5. So the next will be the dynamic initialization I have given double n equal to 5.5. This is double is a variable, data type, n is a variable, the value we initialized 5.5. The next will be double, another one more variable we are declaring, a equal to n into n. Okay, so both will be declaration only, both will be variable declaration only, but the declaration of variable will be, you just observe it, it's a different format. That means here we used the variable, the compatible data type will be double, and we have used double means it's a decimal fraction number, float double. Okay, so here 5.5 I have given. The next step will be the same only we used, but here we used variable, not a value. So direct value if you are storing to the variable, that is called as initialization. If you are not using the variable value directly, instead of the value you are using or initializing with the help of any variable, this is called as a dynamic initialization. Okay, so how it will be, why it is called as a dynamic, let me explain. Okay, so here the value of n equal to 5.5. Okay, so here we are using a equal to n into n. So this calculation, the result of or output of this statement, we are able to see while executing the program. At the runtime only we are able to see the value of a. but the value of n, there itself we are able to identify. While writing the source code itself, we are able to identify the value of n equal to 5.5. But the value of n, it will be a question mark. But already have given the calculation, we are able to calculate it, but the exact value we doesn't know. Okay, so if you wanted to know the calculation, the result of A or the output of A, you should be execute the program. After executing only the output of A, we are able to see. So this kind of initialization is known as a dynamic initialization. That's why it is called as a, at the runtime, the Java allows the runtime initialization. While running the program or while executing the program, we are able to see the initialized value, isn't it? So this is the way we are using the dynamic initialization. So it is also a type of initialization only, but instead of direct value, we are using the variable. Already that variable is initialized. Okay, so here I have given only simple value. Sometimes 5 places value also we need to use, n equal to 35,000. So like that, if you wanted to use, means the directly doing the calculation is very difficult and it will be time consuming. So that easily if you wanted to get, we are depending on the program, n into n we are giving. So n into n is a calculation. We already know the value of n will be 5.5. But after calculating n into n only, we will get the output of A. This will be done by at the time of execution of program. After executing the program only, we will get know what is the output of the variable A. Okay, so this kind of initialization is called as dynamic initialization, and Java allows only the dynamic initialization of variable. Okay, and also normal initialization also they will allow it. So in the situation wise it will be changed, but more they are depending on the dynamic initialization. That means the maximum we are depending on formula. That means simplifying the formula, mathematical problems handle will be there. Finding the circumference of a circle to print the pattern, or quadratic equations, calculating the given series. So this kind of different kinds of calculations and formulas we need to apply. Okay, while applying the formula or series, we already know this is the way it will be executing, but we doesn't know the output. After executing the program, after inputting the value only, we will get the answer. So this kind of initialization is called as a dynamic initialization. Okay, so the next one we can consider the types of variable. So after initialization and dynamic initialization, what are the types of variables we are using in the entire programming? So that is also related to initialization. So before knowing the about the variable, we are unable to do the initialization. So what are the types? That means where we have to declare the variable. So anywhere we can declare the variable, but there is a restriction will be there. Okay, so the entire Java programming, wherever you need, you can declare it. So each declaration types of variable is having their own group of names will be there. That is called as a types of variable. So what are the major types of variables we are using in the Java programming? We can see. The first one is called as a local variable. Local variable. So local variable means that name itself giving the meaning local variable. Okay, that means inside the methods or functions, member functions. So we already know when we are explaining about the classes and object. So what do you mean by data members and a member function? So this local variable is completely belongs to the member function. Okay, so how the member function will be working in. So here we have given class square. This is the name of the class. Okay, inside that we are giving public one void get function, void put function. Okay, so this is one class. This is a keyword or access specifier. So below that we have used two functions, that is called as a member function. So before declaring the member function, we have to use the variable. So common variable, that means the entire class, how many variables we need to use it. Okay, so that is called as a private variable. So each and every class is having their own private variables will be there. So this private variable, so here class A, private int A and B I have given. Okay, the next I just declare public, then void get function. Okay, so here A and B I have used. So this is just we can consider addition program. Addition program means you need to input two values. Okay, so these two values you should be stored in any two variable, that is called as A and B. Then you have to do the addition. After addition, the result should be stored in another variable. Okay, so that another variable I just declare as a local. So here I have given int C. Okay, the next calculation will be, the continuation will be here, C equal to A plus B. Isn't it? Then let me explain which is local variable. I'll explain. Okay, so here private means here int A B will be there and also int C will be there. This int A B in the class, this is a class only. Class means in the Java programming the importance, the major part will be class only. Inside the class only we are using the functions, data types, variables and functions. The variable and function will be having equal priority will be there. Okay, so here private and public we have used, this is called as a access specifier. So with the help of this access specifier only we are accessing the variable. So what do you mean by access specifier? Access specifier will be allow the user to access the variable wherever you need. So based on the access specifier, the accessing permission will be changed. If it is a private means inside this class we can access the variable. A and B we can access inside the class. So in the programming language or Java program, each program is having more than one class we can use at a time. Okay, so more than one class use at a time. The class A will be, I have declared the class, the A and B is belongs to class A. If next one more class I have declared class B, it is having another two variable. But this A and B I am unable to access class B because this A and B is only for class A. Okay, so the next one is we can go for the public. Public means it is having some user accessing function or methods will be the what kind of actions you wanted to do in the given programming, that is completely we are giving inside the public section. So that is called as a member function. So the specialty we can see inside the member function we have used one single variable that is called as int C. So this int C we can consider as a local variable. Why it is called as local variable? Because the C we can use inside this function. Okay, entire class we cannot use it. Entire class only A and B we can use it. Okay, but the C will be only belongs to this get function. So more than one member functions we can declare inside a class. Okay, so this get function will be one member function of a class. So this like we can declare more than one member function. So each member function is having their own group of variables will be there. Okay, so this speciality of this group of variable only those function can access. Outside of this function, this C variable is unable to access. So this kind of protected, it will be protected by the member function. This kind of variable is called as a local variable. That means that it is only for this particular function. Okay, so the best example will be when you will be in the class, you are having the geometry box or pen pouch will be there. Okay, so this bag will be the textbook will be there. Apart from that, you are keeping the geometry box. So inside the geometry box, your pen, pencil or the geometrical things will be there. Okay, so directly you are unable to access the geometrical things. You have to open your bag. The bag we can consider as a class. Inside the class, inside the bag, textbooks are there. The textbooks and all we can consider as a private variable. Okay, so inside, apart from the textbook, one more extra pouch or box we are seeing, that is a geometrical box, that is just called as a member function, isn't it? So the speciality of the geometry box, the pen, pencil or all other geometrical things will be kept inside the box. That means directly it is unable to access. You have to open the bag. and you have to get the pouch, then you have to open it, then you have to get the pen or pencil, isn't it? So this pen and pencil only belongs to inside, or only they are keeping inside the pouch. They are not keeping outside. So this pen pouch or geometrical box is used to keep the pen or pencil. So this pen and pencil we can consider as the local variable of a box. Box we can consider as a member function. The textbooks and related books we can consider as a private variable. The bag we can consider as a class. Did you understand, students? So once again, I'll explain the example. Your school bag, textbook, geometric box and the things of a geometrical box. The bag we can consider as a class. What are the books and textbooks you are keeping inside the bag? That is called as a private variables. Number of variables, that is your wish only. How many books you need to keep, that is your wish only. That like how many variables you need, that is a private variable. That is we can consider as a books. Then the member function, public member function will be geometric box. Okay, that is a separate part of the class, isn't it? That means it will be keeping inside the bag, but it is a separate pouch. Inside the pouch, what are the geometrical things or pen or pencil we are keeping? That is called as a local variable. The geometric box or pouch we are calling as a member function, isn't it? So this is called as a local variable. Okay, students, I hope you understood what you mean by local variable. Local variable means nothing will be there. One particular limitations we are able to access. That means that is only for the particular area. Outside of the area we are unable to access the variable. So that kind of variable is called as a local variable, and all the type of object oriented programming will be allowed to use the local variable, isn't it? So if you are having any doubt, you can contact me through subject group, or you can drop out the questions or queries through the subject group. Thank you, students. Have a great day.